notes and have their questions, because you will not be allowed to leave until you ask a question. Our next speaker is from NYSERDA. It's Susan Moyer. Please welcome Susan.
Thank you. I'm Susan Moyer. I'm the Director of Marketing at NYSERDA, and I'm going to shift the conversation a little bit away from solar, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the elements that I think need to be incorporated into a successful public awareness / marketing campaign. Next. So first, a little bit about NYSERDA marketing. We use integrated marketing to build awareness of our programs and also to encourage participation in our programs. Integrated marketing is an approach where all the elements of the marketing campaign work together. They create a seamless customer experience. The messages are all built on a value proposition, and they're all reinforced across all the tactics that you use. And everything works in a unified way. It really helps to reduce the cost of a campaign, and it really maximizes the effectiveness. We reach a wide range of audiences, you can see here, from multifamily to residents to researchers. And the interesting thing in all of this is we really don't do a lot of marketing around our solar activities. Our solar programs are normally subscribed. We normally don't need to go out and promote them heavily, so we haven't done that. We take a research-based approach, which is very, very important. We understand the perceptions that people have. We want to understand the barriers, and we need to understand the drivers. And all of this information goes together and gets built into our marketing plans. We coordinate lead management. We use tactics to move people through the sales funnel. Selling meaning getting people to participate and take particular actions. And as we learn about our programs, we measure the results and recalibrate them. And I think everybody knows who Seth Godin is. He's a marketing expert, entrepreneur, author, and this is a quote from him, and he says, "By a factor of 3, what you do or say is not nearly as important as how it makes people feel." And what that's all about is, he makes the point that emotion is a really important aspect of all of this, and if marketers are able to tap into that emotion with an authentic story, they'll be able to convince people. They'll be able to win their business. He's right in some respects, but having an emotional appeal isn't the only critical success factor. In order for someone, once you get their attention through an emotional appeal, to take the next step and inquire, they have to trust. They have to trust the company. They have to trust the organization. And finally, if you're successful at that, logic takes over, and they start evaluating and really understanding, what are the factors that I need to take into consideration when I make a decision. The other thing is, in this world of social media, emotion is even more important. To get somebody to recommend you, to get somebody to say good things about you, you really need to make sure that you address that emotional level. And I think that the technology that we're talking about today really presents that opportunity for us. I think that there's a lot of opportunity across a variety of mechanisms. So a quick close-to-home example of some of the things that we've learned through research, so that demonstrate sort of the rational emotional appeal. In 2010, we conducted a statewide market research report to really understand how to best motivate people to reduce their energy use. And there are really significant differences in the power of those motivators. Most people said that when you ask them that if they save money, that would lead them to reducing their energy usage. Oh yeah, I would reduce my energy if I knew that I could save money. But when we went back and did the analysis and the correlation on all of that, there really wasn't a very strong correlation between people actually desiring to save money and actually reducing energy. the surprising thing was the strong correlation was people's concern about waste and the emotional nature of waste, feeling guilty about wasting, having your neighbors think that you're wasting, and all of those factors really strongly correlated to reduction of energy use in people's homes. So it was a really interesting example of how at face value you might think that you can reach people and have them act in a certain way based on a certain set of motivators, and really that may not at all be what's going on. So finally, I believe that New Yorkers are aware of solar energy. I think they are aware of technology, or they believe they are aware. And many, I think, have misperceptions about solar energy, about the technology, about the benefits, and about the value. So I think the exercise that we have to undertake here is not so much in creating awareness, but understanding the beliefs, segmenting the audiences, and shifting the perceptions from where they are to where they think we need them to be in order for us to reach our goals. So I think this sort of disciplined approach is something that we need to consider as we talk about building a public awareness campaign around solar technology. That's it.
Excellent, Susan. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Good data points there. All right. Jody Spitz-Anderson from the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York, as well as the U.S. Green Building Council, is going to be manning her own PowerPoint here.
Yeah, I'll walk back and forth. I tend to pace. So, the talks so far have led me to throw in a couple of ideas before I go through my few slides. But first, I want to introduce myself. I am a national level volunteer with the U.S. Green Building Council, a chapter steering committee, bringing local concerns and local activism to the awareness of the national work for the USGBC, and also the chair of the local New York Upstate chapter of the U.S. Green Building Council. One of the things that I work for DASNY as my day job. I almost forgot to remember to mention that, but I'm director of sustainability there, so I have the great pleasure as an architect of affecting projects, but also of working with staff on improving our operations and our awareness broadly. And then I get, as an extra bonus, to work with other agencies and authorities on policy planning, on some initiatives and education across those silos of different agencies, which is actually the best part, truly. So a varied role, and I'm very pleased to be here. What I have experienced to date is how powerful language is and how powerful our perceptions are in affecting our actions. So I just wanted to mention a couple things, and then we'll dive into this. One of the biggest things that I encounter are people who think that green building and renewable energies and change are a burden, and then the people who think that they're a benefit. Right? It's either one or the other. In everybody's mind, it's a burden or a benefit. So who here has kids? Are they a burden or a benefit? Right? So depending on which day, depending on how old they are, depending on how tired they are, or hungry, or pissed off, or whatever, the fact is that they're a burden and a benefit. And I think John mentioned this before, we really have to address what concerns the individual, and we have to be honest about the burdens and the benefits of everything we talk about. Not just as they fly solo. We're not talking about solar panels. We're not talking about one particular thing. We're talking about how that relates to how the people are going to use that energy, how it affects the landscape around them, how it attaches to their building, how they understand the ebb and flow of those electrons, be they green or be they not. So all of those things have to factor into the discussion. Other aspects of language, unfortunately, I think the term conservation has come to mean sacrifice and putting our own comfort aside for the good of something else. Whereas if we talk about efficiency, that can mean being smart and being clever and being aware. So efficiency and effectiveness is actually my preferred term. So I like terminology. I think it can greatly affect adoption of new strategies. So I want to talk about mind shift. First, I have to tell you, those are my son's eyes. Okay, so there's a little point of pride there, and I often it's all business, but it really all starts personal. So it's about mind shift for me. And I'm going to show you a slide of where I think we are. And this is, we're in a world of disconnect. We have worked so hard, no matter whether you believe in big government or not, it doesn't matter. We are in a point of time where we flip a switch and lights come on and we don't know how. We turn on the faucet and water flows and it's clean and safe, and we don't know how. We have no idea how any of that works. We have no idea, here's another term, away. What does away mean? Away means it's off my property and someone else is going to take care of it, right? So that is the biggest obstacle